Hey, I was looking at Luke chapter 4 last week, and there's some more challenges in there for me. So I'm going back to Luke 4. Jesus returns to Galilee, and he goes to Nazareth. He goes into the synagogue. He opens up the scroll of Isaiah, opens it up, and says, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, for he has anointed me to bring good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim that captives will be released, that the blind will see, that the oppressed will be set free, and that the time of the Lord's favor has come." He rolls up the scroll. He hands it back to the attendant. He sits down. And all of the eyes of the synagogue look at him intently. And then he says, "The scripture you have heard has been fulfilled in this very day." Okay? Everyone spoke well of him, and they were amazed by the gracious words that came from his lips. "How can this be?" they asked. "Isn't this Joseph's son?" Yeah, I would be absolutely amazed at such grace-filled words too. Right? Messiah has come. It's the day of the Lord's favor. And here's the thing, though, is the study that I've done here. When they say, in response, they say, "How can this be?" And they're amazed. And they say, "Isn't this Joseph's son?" Now, kind of what they're saying is, Jesus, you're a hometown boy. You know, you're from Nazareth. I'm from Nazareth. Man, isn't this great? The Lord's favor, and it's happening. It's happening right here with us first. Right? We're going to be first in line. We kind of deserve this, right? And the thing is that along with that goes the thought process somehow, some way that, well, other people don't deserve it. You see, because grace is the undeserved, unearned favor and kindness of God, right? Because this has always challenged me about this passage, is that all of a sudden these adoring people get turned into this ferocious mob of people that just want to kill Jesus. That's what they do. They mob him, want to throw him off of a cliff. I'm like, what gives, right? And so it seems that what happened, though, is Jesus just he just kind of lets them have it. He pulls no punches. And what he says next in the scripture is that, well, let's see. There were needy widows in Israel in Elijah's time, right? He was a prophet in the Old Testament. Yet Elijah was not sent to any of them from Israel. He was sent instead to a foreigner, to a Gentile. Whoa, that was enough to make them furious. We're Jewish. They aren't. They don't deserve it. He also goes on to say, there were many in Israel who had leprosy in the time of the prophet Elisha, but the only one healed was Naaman, a Syrian. He was like an army commander with leprosy, and he was made pure, not just clean, he was made pure. And it made them ferocious. This was, for some reason, their thought process, right? They were saying, no, we are the entitled ones. We're the ones who deserve this grace and not them. It's kind of interesting, isn't it? They deserve the undeserved grace that pours out upon all people. And you figure they should know, Israel's supposed to be a light to all of the world, just like as Christians, we're supposed to be the light to everybody. Right? In Isaiah, in chapter 25, it says this: "On this mountain the Lord Almighty will prepare a feast of rich food for all peoples, a banquet of aged wine, the best of meats and the finest of wines. And on this meat he will destroy the shroud that enfolds all people." He's kind of describing the end time, right? "The sheet that covers all nations. He will swallow up death forever. The sovereign Lord will wipe away the tears from all faces." You get it? "He will remove his people's disgrace from all the earth. The Lord has spoken." And so it seems that the folks from Nazareth, the Jewish folks, should have had this embedded somewhere, right up in here, up in their head or in their hearts, but somehow, they kind of missed it. Yeah, somehow they kind of missed it, and that's the challenge that I carry from this. How am I like those guys, those people that were in that synagogue that got mad at Jesus because he challenged their privilege or their that they deserved that favor. And so the question I wrote out was this for me: do I carry the subtle, unconscious judgment? It kind of turns into a judgment when I think that I deserve, somehow I've earned it, right? I've earned this grace and other people haven't. Do I carry the subtle, unconscious judgment that I somehow deserve God's undeserved favor and others do not? It's kind of ironic or whatever, isn't it? And the thing is that I don't think those guys, the ones sitting in the synagogue, really knew it at a heart level, right? Nothing was wrong. It was just the way it was. And so I saw a post in Facebook from a guy I know, and he said this: at some point, we have subconsciously judged every single person we have come in contact with. From your best friends to a passing excuse me in the grocery store, we say we don't judge, but we do it every day. Is it human nature? I think it's the status of the world we live in. And I responded to that. I said, boy, that's a really good thought. And some of the guys I know, I said, hey, what do you think about that? And some said, well, it kind of goes back to that Genesis story maybe where, it was all good, but we felt we had to be in control. We're right and wrong. God isn't so much, and that we have the ability to judge and control other people. Perhaps it's pride. Okay, I'm like, that kind of makes sense. I was reading an article by a pastor, and he said this. He said, I had become an expert at seeing what was wrong with people and speaking it with some degree of condemnation, condescension, and even disgust. That's something the Lord hates, but I didn't see it. Boom. There it is for me. That's been the challenge, and I've been talking to other people about it too, and they've seemed to be praying about the same thing: is how maybe do I have a sense of privilege or entitlement or whatever it is to God's grace, and I don't even see it. I don't even know it. I don't even realize it's there because it's just what is. For some reason, it could be that I'm better educated than other people, or the way other people look, how much money somebody makes, whether they are on welfare or not, their lifestyle. Well, right? And we don't even realize that we're doing it. We say we're the most loving, grace-filled people in the world, but we don't even realize it. So that's my journey, and that's kind of what I'm thinking about. How do we figure out our blind spots? Okay, that's where I'm headed. That's where I'm going to figure this out in the Jesus story. And what do we do about it? In the next couple of weeks, next couple of videos, that's what I'm looking at, is how Jesus, because he demonstrated this. That's what he was trying to do. Saying, this is the way that grace is going to be poured out on everybody. Look at me and the way I'm doing it and follow me. So I'm going to be checking that out. You take care. Grace and peace to you. How about that? Grace and peace to you. I love you. I'll see you.